But it's Microsoft's day today, man. Completely bucking the trend when it comes to the Mag 7, up about 2%, 1.97. Apple absolutely getting clipped. It was basically a sell all day until it found some support at 265.40, down 2.4% on the back of the essentially the CEO switch there. Google also down 1.25%. Both GOOG and Google. Amazon really fading the entire move. I mean, this is when Joey messaged me yesterday that Amazon and Anthropic had that tie-up right around 4:30. And quite frankly, since that area high, we've given up about 1.5%. Given that aftermarket move. So Amazon still positive on the day. Tesla, we get Tesla tomorrow. Tesla's tomorrow. Tesla tomorrow down 1% today and also below 4%. NVIDIA, much the same fate, down 1.15. You wouldn't know that NVIDIA was red on the day if you take a look at AMD, which is barely off the highs. Is this another all-time high for AMD, man? Well, I think we got into a little bit higher yesterday, Neil, just at around 420. We got to 287.61. We're 284.28 is the high today, but another higher low. You feel like AMD is just setting up for more highs. And then one name that I'm involved in, LITE, getting clipped today to the tune of 5%. We'll have to find out what's going on with that one. Let's move down here, see what else is moving. FCell, we mentioned this one. Big day today for FCell, but fading off the highs. Bloom Energy, yet another all-time highs on that. Chinese ADRs, all, without exception, on my watch list, decidedly red. 3 3/4 for Baba, 3% for Baidu, 4 2/3 for PDD, and the list goes on. All the EVs names as well. NIO, XPeng, Li, they're all negative on the day. Crypto as well, just turned negative, but barely. Bitcoin still holding $75,000, right around 75.6 for the coin. Military and defense names, you thought maybe possibly these ones would catch a bit of a bid. Not so. NOC is absolutely breaking down. This could be a buy here, though, on NOC, man. This is the 200 moving average. I'll have to take a look at that one later, but that is one to look out there. Are we ready to go? Ready to go? All right. So Neil's at the big board. Joey's locked in. We're ready to send you to the afternoon show. It's been great, guys. Hope you guys had a lot of fun with Joseph and I trading small caps, and Joey was all over Apple. Long.
Yes, exactly, guys. Welcome back to the ending segment, I guess, of the show. A lot going on here today, guys. There's a couple opportunities throughout the intraday session, and what we can really tell if something is going to be genuine or not, or it could be a potential false movement. Now, we had a trade here on IBIT, and there was two distinct differences in essentially why one trade worked and why the other one didn't. So essentially what you want to look for, there's a key metric, and we call it volume. Volume is the teller of worlds of when you might potentially fall into a false breakout or something may be an actual breakout.
You see the volume coming in, you see it going to that big key level, the green candles pile up, you get that FOMO, you layer in at the top, and then you get the rug pull. There's three big things that you gotta look for the reasons why a breakout turns into a false break and can end up in disaster. The first thing is, okay, well, identify, are you breaking out into overhead resistance? That completely changes the nature of the trade. In this particular case, when you look at that top here that's trying to break this top, it already failed once. When it goes a second time, it's got overhead resistance. Now you'll note, I kind of didn't want to fall for that trap, so I'm covering going into it. The second thing that you've got to pay attention to, which is very, very important, is going to be, what's the volume looking like? Right? Now you can see volume at the bottom, always good volume at the open, but if you line up the breakout, it's not extraordinary volume. A lot of times if you have a late day breakout trade, if it's not happening at 9:30 in the morning right at the open, you want it to be the biggest volume spike of the day, even considering the open, or at least adjacent to that. So that's strike number 2. And again, more reason why you're looking to pile out. The third one's important. When you have a key price level where you're trying to find buyers above, it can be the opening range in correspondence with a prior day high or a prior day close, something along those lines, it gives you an area to look for the break. When it pulls back into that area, you'll want there to be buyers. If you don't see them, you gotta get the you-know-what a dodge. The faster, the better. Whether if you've taken nothing out, you probably want to get out faster because you have no profits to work with. If you have taken some out, you can give it a little bit more room because you've taken profit and you can have a break even or slightly positive trade if you give it more room. But the idea that you want people in that breakout range to have buys is important. Because if it's such a key price level that it's busting through, you don't just want buyers on the way up. When it comes back into that price, you want the sell to be gone and the buyers to have control. If there's none of that, you're not trying to reload. You're thinking about where to get out, and you know how nasty it can be. Because what happens in a situation and why it can be so nasty, the failed breakout, is you don't just have the longs that are in it here. You have to deal with people that have been long from before and are looking for continuation today with that now double top. When they don't get it, they're like, I guess my trade's done. I'm not going to get the continuation on day two. Yet another reason why you get so many false breaks.
Absolutely. Looking for the continuation, and that false break happens, you have to get out of dodge, as Neil just mentioned. But one thing that you can also do is, once you've broken down, you can look for those buyers to step in on a potential false break. More liquidity needs to be absorbed in order for those assets to either recover or continue to climb higher if you have the inability to punch through key resistance zones. Volume going to be a massive teller, and how we can translate that to real time is also by the time of sales.
Absolutely. You want to be looking at that tape. And you know what's interesting? Another place you look for that in that tape, and I'm giving you a bit of a bonus here. If you have a false breakout, like was in the case here in that BMNR trade, whatever the support was, sometimes it can be a line of support that the stock was going into for the break, or in this case, it can be a trend line that ended up breaking. Leave it in there. Still look at it on the way back. Why? Because that theoretical bid support leading into the break, when you come back to it, you might have an opportunity where the sellers are now in control and you can look for that reversal. The thing about a false break is it can give you some interesting price action if it retraces back to those prices and does so too rapidly. So you got to be paying attention. Well, first of all, you can't worry about paying attention for shorting the pop back up if you're still bag holding the long after you get rinsed. But if you get out, you can then look at that support and find it as a way to look for the other direction in the trade. It's at least useful price information where maybe you can get some back if you took a small hit. Hopefully you can make a good winning trade in there, but you don't want to get trapped with that FOMO. If you see those signs, you have to somewhat turn it into maybe a scalp trade or a smaller trade, or at bare minimum, get the you-know-what out of dodge before it gets ugly.
Absolutely. And how many times have traders been trapped in potential trades, not gotten out because they weren't looking at some key features, right? Your volume and your tape can be tellers of worlds on when you may be getting caught in a false breakout. And we're going to go over an example here momentarily right after we get back from Sia.
Yeah, just a little news here. Iran just saying on X that Iran has not notified Pakistan whether it will be attending the talks tomorrow. According to the New York Post, citing certain sources, there's also another one saying Ukraine is ready to deploy ships from the UK to assist in reopening off the Strait of Hormuz, according to the Times. Sending it right back to you.
Good one. Thank you very much, Sia. I just had both chats open. I'm like, which one's the right chat?
Yeah, I'm going through that issue right now, too.
So I just closed them both. I'm just going to reopen the one that I think is correct. And look, I wish we could tell you, I would love to tell you we're going to be cruising back into the highs. But that doesn't seem, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily seem like it. Like even with this pullback in USO, I'm in battle, by the way. Well, okay, I should explain it. So USO trended up and pulled into VWAP. So I don't know, something along these lines. Draw a line of best fit. Doesn't really make a difference. I didn't think it was a very clean trend break. Maybe I would have traded this instead. Either way, it takes a top, and then there was the headline that, hey, these meetings might be back on. We're on a plane. We're going over there. And then you get this heavy move down. In that same moment, this candle is 136 on a 3-minute. This is battle at 136. I was already in the trend break in battle, and then it was trying to break this prior high. So within, I'd say there's maybe like a 15 to 20 second moment where USO was already failing that level, and I could just get back into battle, like buy back or sell into the same shares at 32. So it gave me that little few seconds to look at the leading indicator falling and then jump into it, shorted it to VWAP. I'm kind of looking for the whole, to retrace the whole thing. Like I want to give it to around the 420 to 25 area and get the last of it breaking VWAP and falling apart. But that's going to be reliant on USO, which is bouncing off VWAP itself. So when I said this in the afternoon yesterday, like it's, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Like I like the mean reversion trade, so these are the ones I'm going to try to take, and we'll see where it goes. But this market this afternoon might just have to hinge, Joe, on again paying attention to whatever random headline we might see, the behavior of oil futures, which will be closed in about 20 minutes, and we'll watch some USO bouncing off VWAP. That kind of strength is going to maybe make the markets weaker. I'm looking in the other direction for SMCI, which this wasn't a trend, this was a pure flat bottom break on SMCI, which I trailed out of. I guess I left that trail in there. Should have put it at break even. But this is the one I'm looking for the short on, because SMCI tagged 30 bucks, so filled in almost all of this gap, like this gap here on the March the 19th. So filled in the gap from March the 19th, wicked the top, turned around. I didn't see it. Was well past VWAP. When everything started falling, I'm like, okay, what's like a VWAP or breakdown trade that's still available? Went through a bunch of stocks. Nothing was sitting right where I liked it. This one was like a flat bottom break. I'm like, okay, well, I'll take that because it's a flat bottom break.
Nice.
No way, AMD.
With AMD continuing to climb. Yeah, I'm looking for...
Stock is insane.
It is insane right now. I mean, Sean's on the position board saying we don't have any positions. That's not the case. We're long some NVDL right here, guys. You can see that there's a little bit of an indecision print off of that. So 39s we'll call flat. We'll take a little bit of a pop there. Bang, 62s is what we're looking for. We'll take a little bit more off on here. We'll do a transaction just so you guys can see essentially where I'm in at. I'm not going to take anything off, just something substantial, a little bit there so you can see the average price as we continue to climb. So a nice little pop in NVDL. Watch out, we don't want to hit out. I went to school with his cousin.
Seriously? Oh,
yeah. She was in the same. She was the same age as me. Yeah, I'm not going to name drop.
No one's going to know it. Connor Brown used to play for the league.
I'm not going to say her name, essentially, right? I mean, no, I'm not going to do it, man. We can't do that stuff. What is that term that Pratt always used?
Oh, drop your doxing somebody.
Doxing, yeah. I've never even heard of that before.
Like I don't know. Like it's so okay. So you're just basically now the position board. Like I lost my position.
Yeah, that's it, man. You're out of there.
Oh, so like knocks one in and knocks one. I don't know. No, but you're not really doxing a person. Like they exist.
Yeah.
They have a famous something. Like they have an athlete cousin.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't see how that's. Is that
it's
really?
Too late now. I'm already too deep in the fact that I'm saying that I'm not going to do it. But anyways, a nice little move up there on NVDL. We're still sitting in that Apple trade as well, too, Neil. So something that I've been working on for us.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm still sitting in that. I don't have much left. Only about 5% of the remaining position. Looking for a little bit more here in the NVDL. This key pivot around 94.80 is going to be more or less the ideal where I hold the bulk of it if I'm fortunate enough to get there.
Yeah, like after all, I guess they did really not like the whole CEO change thing. Like my whole attitude towards it was, it was nothing remotely exciting about it, and it was like the safe, blandish, maybe like expected, go with the hardware guy because that's the direction we're going. And I was sort of like, well, I don't think it's a long, but I certainly didn't think it was going to drop as much as it did.
That much.
Yeah, I didn't really see that one coming at all. But is what it is. USO is still going to be heading higher, at least for now. If we do get to, so I'm looking at about 125.50 on USO. Show it here in the 3. I think it's right in this range. So we bounced once off VWAP and kind of pulled back here. If it pulls back and it looks like we're getting the same kind of resistance, topping tail underneath VWAP, then I'm looking at two things. One, I probably wouldn't short SMCI if that looks like it's weak, but I might look for the reload in front of 220 on battle. That's one place that I'm going to look. Also, someone's saying TMUS merger news. Whoops, I'm an idiot. I don't know why I'm doing that. I lose my train of thought. Like someone literally was like, I looked over and said TMUS in the chat, and then just immediately start typing it instead of going to the name that I wanted to go to, which was Open Door. I was in the same trade that, well, somewhat of the same trade as Sharif was. My average price was like 81, I believe. And then we lost VWAP and Open Door. Well, the good thing about the volume weighted average price is you can trade it either way. And I'm thinking anytime there's a small capper that loses VWAP, I tend to think in the other direction. I didn't reverse on that because I was paying attention to oil and all that stuff. But I'm looking at that as well in the afternoon. Like once under VWAP in the afternoon on a small capper, stay there. There's also the bit of a rejection of the 200 period moving average in the daily. This also happens to coincide with. So I'm gonna look for that. Like that's where my eyes are. SMCI, which is looking a little bit more suspect. If oil futures pull down, then that's probably gonna head higher. And then Open Door at the volume weighted average price. And at some point, trying to figure out where you can get into the AMD freight train without having to buy the high of the day. That's another important question. The stock is absurd. What's our all-time high? It's yesterday at, oh, that's a stupid high. Like it's a crazy wick, 87.70. That kind of a high almost doesn't matter. Like when it's such an insane single wick on every time frame, it's not even like, to me, it's not even a resistance at that point. Yeah. Like the resistance is usually, when you do a wick like that, the resistance is lower. Like it's here where the resistance, you're breaking it right now, in my opinion.
Here it is. The headline sensitivity right back into the market.
What did we get now?
Like exactly. Like it's like, okay, we sit in this trade, we grind up to our target, and then it's just instant boom, flush. Like I don't know how people, like at the end of the day, all that unrealized, I only take a little bit out, and then it's just gone in the matter of a flash, right? So
that's right back up though.
It is. But Neil, why did, like it's like the whole point of sitting through that. Imagine it didn't come right back up and just continue to move to the downside, right? So like now I'm left with this choice. It's like, okay, do I continue to hold on to the bulk of my position, or is this thing going to continue to move around? So I mean, like there's zero chance if you're, regardless of the vehicle that you're trading, is that if you're in the favor of it, but how often is that necessarily the case?
That have me on Intel today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like it's like, dude, it's like what fun? It's ridiculous. It's not fun in my opinion.
No, it's like when you're a structure trader, and I consider myself somewhat that, it's so annoying.
It's so annoying. Like,
because there's nothing you can do about it, and like a lot of the times, the answer to that scenario is like suck it up and get back in. So it's like, okay, well, you might have to find yourself like getting wicked out and then 2 minutes later jumping back into the same trade.
Yeah, I agree.
Which doesn't look exactly the same, but it's like,
it's like two massive volume spikes. So like so what I had unrealized was my red to green and then some trade, and then now it just, with that spike, it's all gone, right? So it's just like, all right, well, what do you do? Yeah, I mean, because it's a point to just wick right back again. Yeah, Joseph Tall. Yeah, I mean, that's how it is, man. Headline trading it's extremely, like, when there's sensitivity. That's why I like the first couple of weeks of it. The first couple of weeks are fun, but when it's been going on for over a month, it's just like, I don't know, from an intraday standpoint, it's not saying that it's not fun, because sometimes it can be, but it can get a little bit under your skin on the fact that it's just like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, we're nicely green here on the day. Oh, no, you're
that's
not.
Why you take profit on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you could have been more, right? Like, obviously, there's always that scenario that there's more. But that's just the narrative in which we sat in here on NVDA.
Maybe I should be short on Intel. That literally happened to me too.
No,
I was in a flush trade. I was trying to long too aggressively on Intel this morning. I'm like, okay, under VWAP, lower high. The second it did this, like lower high, like right to the same wick, I'm like, I'm just getting short under VWAP. And then I just added to it, and then it hit the bid. And this was like it hit the bid, and then the next candle shoots up, and I was in the process, I had moved to stop into here just as I was getting that bid, and I still had an order here. So you have to understand the scenario. Like I'm just getting some out, right? And I still have an order to reload because I know I already got one fill. I got a second one. I'm like, okay, I had the order to reload. I just moved my stop down. And like a second later, like it happened real quick, like well, maybe not a second, but right after that, it runs the stop. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? I'm looking around, like why did we just spike? And I make the decision not to get back into the trade like a chump. Actually, I shouldn't say like a chump. because I think it ultimately led me to a cleaner trade maybe later in SMCI, but I'll say like a chump either way. But ultimately, it can be frustrating. And I think sometimes when that happens to you, your initial reaction is to, like sometimes your initial reaction is to FOMO back into it, and we say don't FOMO trade. The way you've got to consider it is if that crazy wick price action didn't actually change anything for your trade, and you're honestly true about that, then you kind of should jump back in, right? And in that particular case, like I don't think, like it shouldn't have got me out. So the answer is, if I can present him with the opportunity, just get back in the trade, like right here on this wick. If I can be quick about it in the next minutes, just get right back in. Like it's silly, it's annoying, but you just got to do what you got to do. And what just happened on USO, are we going to see it? I don't want to ramble too much. I'll finish the thought. We're going to go to C at the desk, and I'll finish the thought with USO.
Sorry, no, I just have a really quick update about the USO. So we do have comments coming in from Iran's foreign minister, Arakchi, saying that blockading the Iranian ports is an act of war and thus a violation of the ceasefire. Also saying that striking a commercial vessel and taking its crew hostage is an even greater violation. Iran knows how to neutralize restrictions, how to defend its interests, and how to resist bullying. These are reports coming from the foreign minister's posts on X.
An act of war, you're at war. Although I guess, there is a ceasefire. And so just to quickly finish the thought, like, there's going to be these wicks. One of the biggest tells, at least right now, is the reaction of what is kind of the leading indicator for the news, and it's going to be USO. So if I look over and I get wicked out of something, let's say it's USO pops up, and the first thing I see is like a topping tail, and then it comes right back down, then it's like, okay, well, maybe you can disregard that, right? If there's a bunch of continuation and it's not some glaring topping tail candle or bottoming tail candle, then that's going to be a different story. So at least I don't really have much of a reason to change on battle here. Thinking about the reload, I might reload this in front of the 420, like I said. USO is looking at least a little bit more calm. Although it's building back into that 125.5. That's the only reason I haven't pulled the trigger, because it's building back into this level here, and I haven't seen it rejected. There was that one topping tail candle we just talked about, but it's still building back into that level. If I feel the weakness, like hold under 125.50, which it hasn't really proven yet, then I will like that battle reload and engage back in the short, for sure. And yeah, again, I can't promise we're not going to get another headline, and then maybe I get wicked out, and then we have to go back into square one. Taylor Batty, thoughts on CAR? I don't have I already slapped the fail on myself for not just taking I thought there was one relatively clean trade on CAR if you're looking for the short, which I was today, admittedly. There was just this, like it was under VWAP, it was a trend break. Whether you're in here in the 665 range or in over here at 660 range. Either way, like it gave you the look to first level, second level, and even gave you a halt so that maybe you're not out there and you can get out like somewhere into here. At least that's how I roll. Like I probably would have trailed out somewhere in here, and that worked, right? So I wasn't in that one. It basically shrugged that off after making the fresh lows and looking like it was going to die to be back above VWAP and churning. So suffice to say, I'm not even remotely interested in the short on this again. I didn't pull the trigger. If I wouldn't pull the trigger here, I don't want any part of this in the afternoon. I agree. Like it looked like that was when I missed that trade, I fully thought, okay, I just missed shorting adjacent to the top on CAR, and now it's looking for that area as support.
Did you see it on the daily though?
Oh, but the daily chart. Every time you eat your lunch in the afternoon, it's killing.
But brother, you get the exact same thing as me.
I know, but it smells so good because you heat it back up.
All right.
Yeah, the daily chart. But the daily chart was ridiculous, anyways. It's ridiculous.
No, but look what. Oh, okay. So it's not what it was at the lows. So
yeah, like it was looking like a nasty.
Yeah. Exactly.
I thought that was going to be the top, and I'm like, I can't believe I could have shorted this.
Exactly. You thought that was going to close as a nasty inverted hammer, right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking exactly on this thing, and I'm like, that's what I was talking about this morning. This thing will display itself when it's ready to turn around, but clearly it's not yet. So yeah, crazy stuff on CAR here.
It's trapped more people.
Yeah, exactly.
I promise you, there are shorts somewhere in the 650 to 7, maybe not, like let's call it like 7 to 710 range, right? That put that on today and added here. So let's just say they, at shorts that were in 710-ish, and then shorts that got in 650-ish. So like there's somebody or some traders that are short heavy 680, and that's a new short position. And some potentially that would have added down here, so the price could be even worse. Like that's how they roll. They're looking to hold it. They're not out. Like that's not like like those that short on that level, where they wouldn't just have like me, like the prior bar out, like that kind of nonsense, where I'll have an actual out on that day, where they're just holding it for a longer period of time. They're probably not considering it unless it breaks $750, and they can just hold on to it. Like I'm guessing, even, and some would probably be more than that, just given how much downside potential there is. Like some might be giving it to like 800 or some other nonsense. Like just how they roll. So they're not even this scared. Like if it takes out the high again, they'd be screwed. Right, so that's enough of CAR. We'll probably at some point talk about it again because I think it's a little bit inevitable. I'm going to try and look at where that entry for, like I said, AMD might be into the long, but that's only going to happen if USO takes out VWAP downside. I feel like AMD is the long that I want. But as long as it holds the bid, I don't trust the long if USO is holding the bid.
Delayed there. Yeah, we're printing 46s, 47s on the tape, but then it just wasn't being reflected on that. So. Yeah, I mean, this is what Neil was talking about, just essentially re-engaging. It stops us out. We have that nice move up into 70s. We add a little bit more here, 20% to this position to see if we're going to get a rebound. But what we do need, as Neil just mentioned, is we need USO. We got 2 pennies worse than our previous position. That's fine. I mean, when you're working with cents, 2 cents can be like when you're using 10 cents worth of stop, that's 20% essentially, right? So precision is extremely key. But if USO does break the volume weighted average price, I like the potential play here in the equity space, especially in some of these tech names. We're printing 46s and 47s respectively on the bid and the ask. So let's continue to climb. For 94.80, I'm going to be extremely optimistic, and we're going to manifest that target come to fruition here for us. But I mean, it's not looking too good in the SPY, and we do need that breakdown in USO. Let's see if we can get a headline in our favor here, guys. This is a big one for us. I don't have the bang or anything along those lines, but a nice move in NVDA so far. I like it when we're instantly in the money, but we want the market to start to participate. Okay, so here it is. Like, this is absolutely disastrous of a day, if you ask me. Like, this is just so ugly, PA. Oh, okay, yeah, cool, boom. Yeah, all right, that was all fun. Let's go long here. Okay, yeah, boom, short, and everything along those lines. So the volatility, yeah, exactly. The volatility has most definitely stepped in. You had a spike here, multiple spikes in the past hour or so. So we have to be cautious of what's going on. V-shaped reversal potential. This is going to be a key level, 644.89. If that breaches, that's not going to be good for our trade, and we have to be prepared to get out. Yeah, there goes USO to the top side, and that's going to bring the NASDAQ down. So looking for longs right now is a little bit more difficult. Thanks, headline sensitivity. All right, let's send things off to Sia here, guys.
Yeah, just again, reports coming here from the New York Times saying that the U.S. has suspended funding for Iraq security services. Just repeating that the U.S. has suspended funding for Iraq security services. That's all. Sending it back to you.
Thank you very much there, Sia. It's like, I'll look over and I'll see like a 30, 40, 50 cent spike on USO, and then it'll be right back down. So I just want to try to find something remotely clear, which means if it's a level that I already liked, and it's a trade that already made sense to me, as long as we hold, again, as long as USO holds VWAP, I'm favoring short in anything that's tech related, and I want something that's weak. So a couple of things there, like I want to, instead of yesterday, because I know yesterday I was trying to short SMCI. The difference is today SMCI is under the volume weighted average price, is doing what the market's doing. You know, I've got a level like off the lows, which I can play to. So I know if it breaks above the quarters, just realize I don't have a stop. I like to, sometimes I'll throw the stop in before I get into position, which is nice. That way, if it breaks a trend, all I have to do is get into position, my stop's already in place, because I know I'm getting out up here. So once that happens, I can get into it. And if I can cancel that trade if I see USO doing something that I don't like. But really, let us know what other names you're trading at this point, because we don't want to overtrade the afternoon. I want to be nimble enough to be able to react to news or see like an A+ setup. And Oh, there was one more thing I saw in the chat, and this was not to single out, but there was someone asking about CAR, or that's made a comment about CAR, which like professionals don't trade CAR. A lot of day traders wouldn't trade. Like you haven't seen me in it. Today was the first time that I was looking to actually make a trade in CAR. I mean, the second time I was looking, and the first time I actually almost pulled the trigger. But believe me when I tell you, and I can't say exactly, like I've heard stories that, let's just say from large traders that I can't divulge because I'm not supposed to. Like, I don't want to say anything. It's not my place. But I can tell you for a fact there are very large traders who do trade those types of things.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And I'm talking like down in New York, and you don't think. Trust me, it's true. There are hedge funds that is what they do, and it seems like that's only a meme-ish kind of deal. But believe me, there are whale traders that also. It's just opportunity is opportunity, and believe me, if there's an opportunity, then there's big traders that are on it. And it might not be something that everybody does, but like what I was describing, I've seen those types of squeezes, and I've heard literally from traders who put millions on that type of a thing, and that's how they roll. Because if you really think about it, you get this once. You get one of these right. That's somebody's year.
Yeah, man.
If you know what I'm saying? Like if they're at that level, that's right. Like, all they need is one. If they catch that top and it goes back to $400, that's their year, and you're good to go. Done. Yeah. Done deal.
Yeah, let's go in. We're going to head things over to Sia. NVDA working. Neil, thanks for telling us and giving us the confidence to get right back into those trades after that dump. Volatility wick out. Now we're at the highest point of the day. Sia, talk to us.
Yeah, Amazon has launched the GLP-1 weight loss program. So Amazon One Medical has launched its GLP-1 program integrating obesity care with Amazon Pharmacy. The company has promised a fast and convenient access to the same. Insured pricing will start as low as $25 per month as per Amazon. And for cash-paying clients, oral drugs will be starting at $149 per month. The company has also said that it will be offering an on-demand prescription renewal starting at $29 for message consultation and $49 for video care. AMZN currently up by 1%, a little more. Also want to take a look at MSFT. Microsoft has cut Game Pass subscriptions after Xbox CEO, new appointed Asha Sharma, has made a promise to recommit to gamers this afternoon. So Microsoft is reducing the price of the top-tier Game Pass Ultimate service by 23%, falling back to $22.99 this month. The more limited PC Game Pass subscription will now go for $13.99, which is down by 15%. But the subscription will not have the new Call of Duty games at the launch time. So she also told employees in a memo that Game Pass has become too expensive, which is the reason for this action. Now, MSFT in the green almost by 2%.
Because someone's like about the volume on CAR. I'm talking about notional dollar value of trades. And someone putting millions of dollars notionally into a single trade in CAR. Not that they're taking 2, 3, 4, 5 million shares, that they're taking 2, 3, 4, 5 million dollars worth of shares. That's a very big difference.
But I think
Very big difference.
Yeah, I think it's a little, I mean, it's one thing to say like, hey, I don't trade that, but to say a whole group of individuals don't trade that is the wrong thing. Like,
They do.
mean,
Well, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you can't categorize like professionals aren't trading. Well, you think this is just retail moving the price?
It's not.
Exactly.
It almost,
So,
in a lot of cases, it almost never is. And not a move like this.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, listen, I understand. Like, I hear where you're getting. To say I don't trade that is one thing compared to saying like, oh, this whole group of people or whatever. Anyways, aside from that, neither here nor there. Let's go NVDL. Neil, thanks for telling us to get involved in that one more time. That must have been the liquidity as USO is
Next time I'll tell myself to get into it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, dude, I'm like, you're like, so AMD is continuing to climb, and I'm like, all right, NVDA looks like it wants to recover. That's when we had that initial move, and then sure enough, now I'm not going through that again. I'm leaving 10% as a runner. We took the majority off. Can we get the screen, please? Thank you, my boy. Yeah, so there it is. A nice re-engagement right there. As the Sean Katima would say, I'm reloaded on that one, and we get to take a nice move, 30 cents higher, and with 20% more. So I'm happy with that one there, and you.
There you go. And sometimes if you like it better. The other thing, too, is if it wicks people out, sometimes that makes it better because other people out. So if you get back in, there's less resistance.
Exactly.
Less people on the offer. right? Like if more people are long, the more people are scalping on the offer, which kind of drags the stock. So if it wicks a bunch of people out, it can be a heck of a lot better on the rebound. So I'm going to go with AMD is trending higher. So if I'm looking for long, it better be this. The same way I'm waiting for potential SMCI reload and battle reload, which is not coming in. But I like the candle emerging here on USO. USO looks like it wants to challenge the volume weighted average price. So jump in on trend and AMD, and I'm going to try and reload the battle short, which to me, it's like that makes sense. Energy down, and then we go, market stuff long is that's the only way I have to think about it. Market things to the long side. And what else we got going on here? What's so interesting is like it seems like we have a ton of volatility, but my hot list or my trade rate list, it's not really popping off, going crazy. Like there's no bookings, kind of a weird stock to be up there. Netflix, I'll probably have to take a look at Netflix. I don't know why it's leading, but like Tesla, FFAI, I know was something Shreve was looking at, NVDA, but none of these numbers in terms of relative vol are crazy in terms of the trade rate. So it's very quiet considering some of the volatility that we've had this afternoon. I don't know what that FFAI would be, but we'll have a look at it if it looks remotely interesting. So I still haven't reloaded on battle, but I'm going to take every single chance for this to hold. Come on, hold the trend. Wait till I buy the dip, and then this is when you want to lose the trend line. Right after I finally get in. I like some of these joiners. Well, one of the reasons why I had this conversation, I don't remember with who, but I would almost always rather go long here and then give it to under the trend line than take the breakout trade. Because I find that if it breaks out, then I have a better price. So like it's 50 cents or 60 cents to the breakout. So it gives me a better price, and it gives me a tighter stop as well. So if I take this breakout, I'm giving it to the trend line anyways. So it gives me a little bit better of a price and a tighter stop. And it hasn't closed under the trend line yet anyway. So let's go to Adara at the desk. We'll come right back and see if we get another push.
Just be aware, Fed's Waller is talking. He's not really saying anything of note, but I think it's worth noting and reminding you guys that he is currently speaking, talking about, I guess, modernizing the Fed and talking about functions like HR, payroll, finance, et cetera. Nothing, again, like I said, super big here. One thing I do want to mention, though, as well, while I have you guys, that is interesting, that is not directly stock related, you've got Polymarket apparently announcing they're going to be adding perpetual futures contracts pretty soon. So perms contracts coming to Polymarket apparently at a time yet to be announced and determined. So beware here. Here's the market. If I get more details on this, I'll let you know. And again, this is not something that's necessarily going to be moving a stock, but I think worth noting, I'm also seeing some comments from AAPL new CEO John Ternus. Apple popping a little bit here, guys. John Ternus, incoming CEO of Apple, effective September 1st, 2026, saying that AI will create almost unlimited potential and that, quote, we are about to change the world once again, that the mission of Apple will not change under his tenure. So John Ternus saying some very lofty remarks here and sending AAPL higher months before he begins his role as CEO.
Valid point. But
Apple just benefits from the world changing because they're able to sort of provide the right tool at the right time, but they don't actually change the world with their products. I know, the product ends up being a game changer, but not because they invented the thing.
You don't think that they've reshaped it, or you don't think they're going to reshape it or anything like that? It just participates in more or less.
Yeah,
we're not going to say that the iPhone
they're a participator.
Was a pivotal moment in mankind.
They're a participator.
Wow.
Well, they took something that already existed and made it infinitely better. That's what they do. But they're not. And there was one moment they had where you could really say that, but you haven't been able to say that for a very long time.
What moment?
When
the first iPhone came out?
You watched BlackBerry, the very first time it was that moment. Outside of that, what other moment has actually been game changing? Every single time that you're this is the groundbreaking thing they've done. It's okay, well that's been. Everyone else has had that for a while.
What is that thing called again?
Yeah,
the Vision Pro.
Vision Pro.
Is that what it is?
That's been a buzz.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That was the next thing that we thought could.
Maybe it still ends up being a big deal. I don't know. It could still end up being a big deal. It's not over yet.
What'd you think about the Fruit Loop flavored chicken, Fabian?
Fruit Loop flavored.
Very much tasted like Fruit Loops.
I didn't hear you on that one, brother.
Not Fruit Loop.
Yeah, that's what Fabian. Exactly. He picked out the flavor. That's what it is.
It doesn't taste like Fruit Loops.
Yeah, a couple months ago he picked that one, and that's why we called it Apple 2Gs in
That's not
1982. Let's go. I don't have
That's
my.
not. It doesn't taste. I actually thought the chicken tasted.
It is.
I thought it tasted solid.
I promise it tastes like that. Yeah. It has. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Who doesn't like Fruit Loops?
Ooh. We're not.
I'm just saying. Haters over here. I thought the lunch was very good. So how about that? What's up now?
Yeah, I mean,
I enjoyed the lunch.
I like the broccoli on it.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. There was a lot of broccoli.
Yeah, I like broccoli.
It's ever since I said all this about broccoli and cauliflower, like every single day we get broccoli and cauliflower now, which sucks because the vegetables are really, really good. I did have some of the broccoli. It was unavoidable. Like there was a lot of it, so
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
I ate broccoli today.
That's good.
It looks like I've reloaded in battle, so I said if it failed 420, then I would reload it. That's where the trail is anyway. So I didn't do it this time, I guess because of all the wicks we were getting, but I just reloaded in here. We'll play it back into VWAP if that's what it wants to do, and let's go back up to Adara.
Yeah, I should tell you guys I'm seeing more comments here from the U.S. about the state of talks with Iran. Associated Press reporting that a U.S. official said the outcome of the conflict, or I guess just going forward here, is, quote, unpredictable if the ceasefire ends without a meeting in Islamabad, Pakistan. Furthermore, same U.S. official reportedly saying that President Trump has the alternative options short of resuming airstrikes in Iran. So apparently he wants to explore other options beyond resuming these strikes should these talks fall through. Also, because we've been talking about John Ternus. Who is John Ternus, you may ask? Here's a photo of him. This is Apple CEO John Ternus. Well, not CEO yet. He will become CEO on September 1st, 2026. As mentioned a couple times now, he's been with the company for 25 years, joined in 2001. I made a post about him when we were first hearing talks that he could replace Tim Cook back in January of 2026. Here's the updated version now that he is, in fact, going to be the new CEO. You guys already know where you can find that on X at TTV Research.
Goes right, like we get a volatility spike. Donald Trump talking about alternatives, tired of releasing the bombs. He has people probably in the back of his or in his ear saying, you know what, maybe this isn't the best route. Let's try to avoid this at all costs. And then sure enough, we get a nice spike up here. The SPOI wasn't reactive, but some of the tech names were. I don't know if this is being driven by Apple, but Apple continuing to climb up to 267.31, and then NVDA getting a nice strong spike. So this NVDL trade has turned out to be really nice and has turned things around for us here today. So it's good. Looking for alternatives, this is what we want to see. I mean, Trump always creates opportunity. That comes into play, but Trump always can drive you crazy at sometimes as well too with some of these spikes coming in. So yeah, it works in both ways, works in both favors. We like the way it's working right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it works in both ways. Volatility is going to create opportunities. Sometimes you're going to get wicked out. Someone said the yen is moving. USD is going to fly around with oil prices, and certainly that's going to be a big deal. Watch out for what that means for SLV. Because, and yeah, don't at me. Yeah, I got out way too early on SLV. And I do think, I said previously, like last week, that I felt like the breakout was still on. At this point now in SLV, here's what I'm sort of looking at. A, you're losing the 50 period. Today's close looks like a very solid and distinct turn on SLV. So I feel like it might have given you what it's going to. It sucks because this was like the gap fill. Like I had the in-range trade. I didn't have the breakdown trade because it just slammed the bid and I was already sitting there and just sort of ran through. And then there was continuation we didn't get involved in. But I still think this one's going to be good. That sort of is what it is. And I said this in the morning. If you have something, like it's one thing to take like one shot, like there on AMD on the trend break. I hate when I lose the trend line when I change. I always want to put this back up. And it's not that it matters, but I always redraw it just to make it plainly obvious where I was buying in front of and why, and where I was trying to give it to. So like, see how this candle attacks but does not break the trend line? This one does not break down the trend line, but this one can't get back above and then breaks that prior low, which confirms that the trend break is gone. So that shows like the why I'm in, the where I'm out, playing it into the breakout, that kind of a deal. No, I just think on silver, if this USD strength continues, it might look pretty nasty. It could get pretty nasty on SLV.
What's USO doing?
What was that?
I was going to say, what is USO doing? It's not doing anything.
No, USO's not doing anything.
Yeah, same
but
with
like, silver's down 4% today. Like gold, well, just SLV is down 4%. GLD is down 2 1/3. And distinctly different from most of the other things that you're looking at in the market. And there's a lot at play in this. And they both went right into obvious resistance moving averages and are now getting the dip and are showing a lot of relative weakness. Now, I tend to think there's going to be a dip buy opportunity. I think it was a good run to get this. I don't know where that's going to be. Maybe in GLD, I guess you wait for the 200 period moving average till proven otherwise. With SLV, the support's been in and around 60, but the 200 period's at 55, so maybe that. It's going to have to do some falling before I like this to the long side again. That's the only thing. I just can't really see a reason to be on that bid. Now battles, the problem with the battle now is that USO is kind of going sideways. So it's holding. Why am I not bidding VWAP? Got to put bids to get out, so I'm just going to bid down into the volume weighted average price. This is very similar in terms of it's putting in lower highs, play into the volume weighted average price, add to it because I was going to trail here anyway, so might as well add to it if we still like the direction. And if it breaks the low, I'm thinking 85 or 75. I have a 75 stink bid just in case any, like when this hammer candle was happening, I just threw a bid down here on the off chance that it completely capitulated and I would just be sitting there if there was a capitulation. So I still left that in because if it happens again, through VWAP, I want to take that shot. Like I just want to get that fill because it could snap right back up. And if you're not sitting there, you don't get the fill. Let's go back to Sia.
Thank you, Neil. So let's take a look at the board. IWM currently trading flat, but in the red almost by 1%. Let's take a look at a couple individual tickers for today. I love talking about this stock, as you all know it by now. BE earnings are expected and coming in on the 28th of April, but it's in the green, up by almost 2.5 almost 3% right now. SATS, SATS EcoStar Corporation is bleeding in the negatives currently by around 7.2%. One stock I do want to mention is VICR, VICR. VICR Corporation is up almost 10% after the company has reported its earnings. I'm just going to pull up the stock here right now. VICR earnings. So the Q1 revenue has gone up by 20% year over year, up to $113 million. You can see the candle right there. It's a 70% sequential increase in backlog as well. The 2026 revenue guidance is now also set at $570 million, and this is driven by the demand for AI, industrial, and defense sectors. Moving on to our final ticker for the small cap, CMPS. Compass, I was talking about this on the show yesterday. There was an insane spike in the stock, almost up 25% after the CEO of the company was being interviewed by Bloomberg. I was talking about this with Joe yesterday. Currently is bleeding down in the red by almost 2.5%.
A Tuesday, which means some people call it Taco Tuesday. What we call around here is we call it like Education Tuesday.
Yeah.
Where we get the opportunity with one of our favorite guests and a great member of the Trader TV Live family, Mr. Brian Shannon is going to be in the house. So we're locked and loaded on a crazy, crazy day because it always seems to be crazy. And so first off, Brian, I've dubbed something because Joe shaved his head, and so I did it in solidarity. And I've called this the Bald Brotherhood. So my first question to you is, would you like to be a member of the Bald Brotherhood?
I think I'm a founding member.
Yeah,
yes, you are.
He started it, really.
Absolutely are.
Started it.
And making it look...
You know what the crazy thing that people don't realize is how much maintenance it is. What qualifies for long hair when you look like this? I'm always lamenting to my wife. I'm like, it's that long, we got to shave it again.
Yeah.
That's 100% true. Although my daughter has mixed opinions about the bald head. It's like, yeah, she likes it, she doesn't like it. I got to ask you something, Brian. And we'll talk about some technicals and
Sure.
some individual names, and I'd love to get your thoughts on a few individual names. But just specifically in this headline-driven market, we were just talking with Joe where you can be sitting in the money in something, and then a random headline comes, causes a volume spike one direction or the other, maybe wicks you out of a trail, and then 30 seconds or a few minutes later, and this can happen on higher time frames. It could be like an hour-long move that it gets negated because that headline was fugazi. And then the trade looks just as good as it was before, but you got triggered on and out. Has that happened to you as more of a swing trader? It happens to day traders a lot. And if it has happened to you, what's your approach?
I look at it sometimes as, am I being persistent or am I being stubborn? So if I get stopped out of a stock and I go back to it, that's generally not a problem. But if I get stopped out twice and then I go back to that stock again, now I'm wondering, am I trying to, prove a vendetta here against this stock, or is this just something I should completely avoid? And in fact, Caesars Palace is one that just happened with. I purchased the stock over here on this break and then got shaken. I took a third off on some strength, got shaken out here, and then I bought it the other day over here, took a third off, and got, yesterday I thought I was going to get shaken out, but fortunately what I do is I use a 5-minute exit, meaning on the open it gapped lower yesterday. So my stop was to be under here. It was opening below that. I hated it. But I have a rule that says if it doesn't violate the low of the first 5-minute bar, which was right here, then I lower my stop to that point. Then I raise my stop up under here once it started getting this buyout rumor news, and then today I got shooken out of it. So basically, in the last 3 weeks, I've attempted a swing trade in Caesars twice, and basically broke even between the two of them. I think it's just the stock doesn't suit me, so I'm not going to go back to it again, but it certainly can be frustrating to see that happen. And who knows, maybe Caesars looks great again in a week and I will probably pass. And that's most likely the time it makes a big run up towards 32, 33.
It definitely does happen. Like, you know what? You just made me think of something. And I wanted you to go back to that chart because there's a setup for day traders that we're usually a fan of. If you already tend to be bullish on something and you get that opening bottoming tail candle, just exactly like you're describing on Caesars, there's that whole, it snatches back up and gives you the consolidation breakout. You go into the long, you throw your stop at the low like you're talking about, and you just let it ride. Is that... For me, that's one. I'm not calling it like an A+ setup, but that is, if I'm already bullish a stock, I almost would love to see that happen at the open. Have you ever found yourself where you see that bottom tail wick, which can signal people have been taken out of the long here, and some people might be trapped in the short? Do I like this better? Now, would I add to that position? Like, I know it's a situation where you won't stop yourself out, which is good because you're staying in the trade. But do you ever find yourself saying, oh, this signal now means I like it a little bit better? Or is that way too day trading?
No, I actually love to do that. In this case, though, you'll see that it was below the prior day's VWAP and the day before that. So I didn't, I was thinking maybe this thing's going to break down. I'll be happy to get out of this one break even. But one of the strategies I love to use is what I call just a simple 2-1 strategy, and it's written about in the Anchored VWAP book, which is, I don't have a good example of it today. So let's say the stock closed like this yesterday. And here's today's, and that's yesterday's VWAP. So then today it's, so yesterday it was extended at the close a little bit. And then the next day it pulls back down to that, what is now the 2-day VWAP. And then as it pulls back to the 2-day VWAP, and then reclaims the daily volume weighted average price. I love that entry. That's one of my favorite entries there is. And then set the stop below here. Because what it's telling me is that, this prior day was a strong day. It closed near the high. They most likely were trying to shake people out at the open. It pulled back down to the prior day's VWAP, and there's still VWAP orders from whatever that event was yesterday. So they're trying to manipulate it down on the open to buy as much stock as they can because they've got an order to fill that day. I don't buy it on the pullback, but as it breaks back above the daily volume weighted average price, it tells me at that point right there, the buyers have regained control for today. It found buyers at yesterday's VWAP. This is most likely just a shakeout. Now I've got an entry into momentum name from where we had an uptrend yesterday, and it's likely looking good on the longer term time frame. So that is 100% my favorite entry.
Awesome. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Brian, I kind of want to lead our conversation into the overall market and more or less talking about the Magnificent Seven and some of these larger market capitalization names. Now, the majority of them were down 20+%, with the exception of Apple only being down 15% off of its highs. But then we have this massive slingshot in the market. Now where almost half of them are only a couple percentage points off of the all-time high when you were down in bear market territory only a couple of days ago. And the same thing with with the SPY and the Qs. If you're down 10%, 12% respectively, what happens? Like, what do you do? How do you position yourself as a trader? If you were short, now you just have this snapback, or are you chasing these longs? How do you position yourself exactly, considering we've moved up pretty fast, and it was more or less a slow grind from the top to where we were kind of bottomed out?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you know, for people who, you know, listen week after week, my main thing for my swing trade and intermediate term time frame bias is this. This is the 5-day moving average. When that 5-day moving average is declining, I'm generally going to say the market's guilty till proven innocent. My bias is to the short side. Maybe I'll start nibbling on some longs if, you know, they look good individually. And then as the market cross back, and this is the mags, by the way, cross back and forth above and below that 5-day moving average, and the 5-day moving average is rising, that's where the buyers start to gain control. As we know, this gap right here was the deadline for the ceasefire to occur that night, and we saw that Wednesday, I think it was, the market gapped up. So we had that gap up, and you know, this just goes to show you don't need to buy the dip. You don't need to buy even when it's going sideways, and you don't have to chase that gap. You look at it and have strategies, and that's the whole thing. If you took a look at the anchor from that gap, if I placed it properly right here, then you'll see, you know, where did the buyers regain control? Well, we had it gapped up, pulled back. The buyers regained control here. It took a little bit of time, but it didn't violate that higher low. And then it's just been a pattern of higher highs and higher lows since then, until maybe yesterday and today. Now we're at that 5-day moving average again. So we're at a critical level. And when if I see it do something like this and then get trapped below that 5-day moving average and it declines, it's going to tell me, oh, this is good. We've got the opportunity now for a little bit deeper pullback. And then I would be looking for it maybe, you know, mid next week, or, you know, by the time we talk next week, or even, you know, Friday or Monday of this week, that it undergoes some profit taking, turns sideways again. And then when the buyers gain control here, then my bias is back to the long side. But right now, you know, I'm getting stopped out of longs. I'm not seeing the good low risk, high probability setups for the long side on individual swing trades. So to me, it says the market's telling me get a little bit more defensive here. I'm not calling a top. I'm not looking for a top. But that's the same thing that's happening here in the SPY. Is we have a lower high today, we have a lower low, but we have a advancing 5-day moving average. So it's just maybe lights turning a little bit yellow after this big green flashing yellow green light here, that we're just getting a little bit cautious. So it's always about, you know, listen as carefully as possible to the message of the market.
Just very quickly, I'm going to jump in for a second because we do have some news here. AP's saying Iran is seeing signs that the U.S. is ready to lift the blockade. That just took USO down about 2.5. Oil futures have closed right now, but that's going to give a bit of a bounce. It wasn't as big of a bounce in the Qs as you would expect. Maybe it got into VWAP, of course, and right, like it fills in the gap. Look at all these wicks. Every time we get a bounce, we go right into it, and then seems like we pull back in. But USO losing VWAP seemed to be the cause. There technically, and this is more of what we're getting. It just keeps on happening, Brian. Like
exactly, and
you could be cruising in a trade.
That was going to lead to my next question. As Brian and I are discussing, like, hey, do you feel FOMO in some form or manner of missing out on the bottom? You don't necessarily have to grab that, but what do traders have to do? Because Neil was talking about the example of not too long ago, is that you have the headline sensitivity within the market. You're in a trade, it comes back against you, a headline drops, you get stopped out, but you re-engage. How are traders really supposed to navigate this? Because the volatility and the headline sensitivity can definitely wick you out on multiple occasions. What do you think some form of a answer to this could be potentially?
Position sizing, you know, exactly. I mean, if you're not confident in it because you've got all this bullshit in the background that, you know, this headline can drop or that headline can screw things up, then you've got to, you know, say, okay, I'm going to be a little bit more careful. If you look at the chart I have on the screen, I tweeted this just as it was. Oil was at $90.65 per share per barrel. From a stock trader, right? We talk about share. Anyways, and I pointed out that This is the anchor since the war began, right here. And we'd seen over and over again, and we spoke about this last week, Neil, that this has been the support. Now, as it was approaching here, right at $90.60, I said, hey, be aware, we've got the anchor from that now, and prior support tends to act as resistance. I wasn't expecting it to just completely fall apart, $3 a barrel, but that's exactly what it did. And the funny thing is that's exactly where there was a news headline as well that said, which one was that? That was, I had it right here, I captured it, was, that Vance is gonna be heading to Islamabad tomorrow. That was announced right here at $91 a barrel, right at the anchor from that. If you tell me that's a coincidence and it happens like once or twice, fine. But when you see that these news headlines drop around these key anchors, that's why they become levels of interest. Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if the next thing we see on the tape tonight is that just prior to that news release, that a big short position was taken in oil by some unknown entity, just like we've seen all these other, maybe insider buys and sells in oil.
Well, is it really that different from, remember, it was that ridiculously, I forget how long the anchor was on Intel that you were mentioning before, and it was right as it was bouncing off of that level that the U.S. government takes a stake in it? It's not
40-year anchor.
40-year anchor.
I mean, you see that stuff enough, and I kid around all the time and say, oh, it must be a coincidence, but it's not. I mean, there's something going on here, right? I mean, people are clearly taking notice and putting out headlines at the proper time. I mean, I always thought it would be a great idea to be a consultant to, Fortune 500 companies and say, we'll help you time when to release your news for the maximum effect. I think that might be market manipulation, but I always thought like, oh, just release your news right now. It's right on supported. You could get the maximum effect.
But you know what? Is that manipulation? If they legitimately have a press release that they're going to put out and they're deciding when to put it out, and they could do it at any point, right? Like you already time things like, okay, so it's 420 and maybe we've got some promotion thing. Oh, so I'm going to do it on 420 instead of the day before because we're a marijuana stock. Is that manipulation?
Depends on if you bought it in your wife's account prior to the release.
Well, if the company is not, but if it's literally just them saying it's going to do the best for our stock price, but nobody's recently bought anything, we have to pick a date, and we like that date for this reason, and no one's sitting there buying in front. Again, I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe we shouldn't be speculating about it.
I agree. I mean, the short sellers would probably cry about it, but anyone who's long wouldn't really care. They'd be like, "Hey, cool, the company's got my back."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're still having fun.
Last thing, speaking before we end things here, Neil. Speaking of short sellers crying, what about CAR here, Avis Realty Group? What do you got going on with that? Are we crying yet, or is there a little bit more than that going on, Brian?
I admit, about 2 weeks ago, over in here, I was short the stock and I hit my daily loss limit, and I said, why am I even trying this trade? And that was at $270 a share, I think, when I was shorting it. But it's shown no, I mean, every single day here, we have a higher low, every single day. So it's still clearly in an uptrend. Now, we might have an inside day here or there, like we did on this day, but every single day we're seeing higher lows, and most of the time a higher high as well. So we get these sharp pullbacks intraday. I mean, you've got to be really on top of your game. You got to be looking at the 1 minute charts if you're going to trade this. I think it halted 5 or 6 times today. It's only for a certain group of people to trade this. And, the percent ATR is 21%. So it's one of the most volatile stocks there is in the market right now. And it's going to be, one that chops people up long and short. And on the day after it breaks down, everyone's going to say, oh, I knew it. You could tell because of that big volume or whatever. And maybe that's true because the biggest volume tends to occur at turning points, and we have 10 million shares today. But it doesn't mean it was easy or it's going to be easy or that this is a top, because tomorrow we might see the stock trade 15 million shares. And then on Thursday, it might trade 18 million shares and the stock's at 900. Then everyone will say, oh, I knew it because of the big volume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny because I was saying before you even came on, I was like, there are big whale traders. I've heard stories from, around you're talking to other traders that knowing what they do, today would have been a signal for the ones that actually play these kinds of things. Whether or not they end up being right today, I'm pretty sure there are some people that got in today for some of those reasons. I don't know if they'll end up being right. Brian, tell everyone where they can find you, and again, always a pleasure having you on, and thank you, of course, for starting the Ball Brotherhood. Yeah, awesome. My pleasure. My DNA is responsible for that one. Anyways, I'm at alphatrends.net or on X at alphatrends, so look there. Yeah, hit them up. Always fantastic content, always making sure we learn something every single time. You're a natural born teacher. I would love to just shut up and listen. Brian, Shannon, we'll hopefully talk to you next week, and stay away from Carr.
Yeah, for now.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, Brian.
All right, take care, Brian.
Ciao.
Bye.
Lots of oil headlines, of course, on the move. I want to clarify that headline that we saw that actually did move the market, or not the market, but it did move oil down a little bit here. Iran's UN envoy reportedly saying that Iran is seeing signs that the U.S. is ready to lift the blockade. I'm not seeing any details as to what those signs were. This is just their interpretation or maybe hope. But if I get more details on that, I'll let you know. That headline there about Iran maybe getting ready to, or Iran believing the U.S. could be ready to move the blockade, that led to a little bit of a drop in oil. But I also have to let you guys know I'm getting more talks from both Pakistan and reportedly from the U.S. about what's happening next year with these negotiations. A source called Al Arabiya reporting that neither the U.S. nor Iran has formally notified Pakistan that they're withdrawing from these talks. And then also Wall Street Journal reporting that President Trump has considered canceling J.D. Vance's trip to the U.S. or to Pakistan entirely because Iran has been deemed unwilling to offer concessions with enrichment for nuclear. So super, super back and forth. Tons of headlines to be aware of. Now, I want to clarify again, Vice President J.D. Vance's trip to Pakistan as of this point on pause or on hold. Looks like President Trump might be ready to cancel it entirely.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, we're seeing plenty of volatility in this market, I'll guarantee you that. And for sophisticated traders, movement is going to create opportunity. And Beta Pro by Globex offers Canada's first and longest running suite of leveraged and inverse ETFs built for sophisticated investors who understand the risks of leverage and the importance of precision. Its triple leverage bull and 3x bear ETFs tied to the NASDAQ 100 index are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving traders tools to engage with both upward momentum and market pullbacks. These strategies are currency hedged, seeking to offset U.S. dollar exposure back to the Canadian loonie. For those navigating short-term market moves up or down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for your individual strategy, objectives, and risk profile. Trade tactically. Learn more at betapro.ca or scan the QR code that was on in front of you.
Okay, before we go to Sia, one thing. So we hear that Iran saying essentially that the U.S. is getting prepared to potentially remove the blockade. I would not be surprised if momentarily we get an additional tweet or a headline that says the United States is not looking to remove the blockade until a deal is done with Iran, right? This is Iran, whatever it may be, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, tomato, tomato. But that is the headline sensitivity within the market, okay? And I mean, I would not be surprised and I wouldn't put it past them. See ya.
Oh, Joe, I support you, but tomato, it will always be a wrong pronunciation for me. Anyways, let's move on to our news for today. Let's take a look at the sector, the board. SPY currently trading flat, not doing anything right now, but in the negatives a little bit over, I would say, 0.3%. But let's take a look at the board. So we have electric tech here doing, I'm seeing a lot of green here. Yesterday, it was not the case. MU up by 0.71%. AMD in the green by 3%. NVIDIA down by less than 0.7%. Apple is down 1.87%. Taking a look at tech services, Meta trading flat right now. Microsoft in the green after the announcement, 2% that I just mentioned earlier. Finance, a lot of mixed sentiment here. Visa, I know, is reporting on the 28th of April post-market. Then we have retail trade. Amazon is also doing good right now, up by 1%, followed by Walmart, up by 1.2%. Health tech, LLY and JNU sliding down around 1%, 2%. But consumer durables, Tesla is also we're currently in the red. Consumer services as well, MACD in the red. But we, again, do have Starbucks reporting earnings to come next week as well. Energy minerals, Exxon trading flat. CVX in the green. Other energy names are in the green. I wonder why Exxon is in the gray. If there's any news, I will let you know. Health services, we know UNH is doing really well after the record revenue and guidance raise reported today. And that's all for your sector. Sending it back to you.
Thank you very much, Sia. And not too much has changed with oil futures. We did get that plunge through VWAP. I think that's going to give us a good over-under here. You know, if we hold underneath, you've got the lower highs coming in. It looks to me good to go. That means market goes up and energy names should go down. I'm not seeing a reason against reloading off of the 420 in battle yet. That's bouncing off VWAP. I just feel like if we get any kind of a curl there, like I want to see a topping tail. I don't like to just sit on the offer. Like if I see any kind of a reversal, like it stops in front of 420 and holds on a 3-minute bar, then I'm just going to reload this one, pull it into VWAP, unless I see something change in that USO side of it. And the market is responding to this with a potential break of VWAP. So it's trying to go. It wants to go. It needs to go. And Apple is trying to. Apple's just.
Where's Apple?
It feels stronger at VWAP than the Qs, no? They're both at VWAP. One of these things, why is there, there's a QQQ, of course, on CNN. Yeah, it feels a little bit stronger on Apple than anything else. As long as we hold, I'm going to stick with energy short, and I'm going to reload battle. And I kind of like Apple more than I like the overall market. But I want to see us clear VWAP. Okay. And we're not really doing it. We just wicked VWAP and came back in a little bit here. So yeah, I want to be patient. It's only 310, so there's plenty of time. And I just realized that I want to get my locator up just in case I see anything pop in. After we're in a power hour, so I always want to make sure I'm looking at the locator on the off chance that something pops in there that is remotely interesting. Want to be locked and loaded for sure. Oh, I was meaning to bring up Faraday. I was asking you what I'm sure Sharif was looking at it. I don't know if you were, but Sharif was definitely on this one. Another high of day break on Faraday. You know, I thought these guys were done. I didn't even realize Faraday was still chilling. Faraday is almost 100% upside today.
Oh, you know what the news was, Neil?
What was the deal?
This was a couple of days ago, though.
I didn't think there was anything today.
Announces $45 million new financing plan. Plans to hold annual meeting of stockholders on May 22nd to seek approval. So, I mean, coming into play a couple of days later, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the thing. My boy, who do we got? Dave Zalmesi in the chat and Jesse Martinez. Hope everyone's having a fantastic one. Yeah, Apple's been strong. I'm kind of frustrated that we got out of that one in the majority off of the lows. But, hey, we're sitting in this.
You have a better one.
I did?
You have a better one.
NVDL, right? Yeah. I think NVDL definitely been that play. We catch $1 on that one. But as for AAPL, we missed the bulk of the move, but we do catch a little bit, which I'm happy about. I'm not going to complain. Whoa, did I just click? I just picked an options contract.
What?
Yeah, look, see?
Oh, yeah, they put them into the system.
Yeah, they put them in I need the chain itself.
Yeah, we don't. They're not in.
They're not ready yet. Not yet. We can punch out. But anyways, aside
from
that,
might have just outed some stuff at Real Trading there.
I got out. Yeah, exactly. I got out at the base, but then it continues to climb a little bit higher. So there it is on AAPL. 2 attempts it took us to get this move going, but then NVDL was definitely the trade of the day for us. Before we send it over, what happened to Apple long, my G? We were in it, and then we got it all out, and then we decided to hop in some NVDL, which we're still currently in. That, my guys. So we're gonna hold on to that one. All right, let's send it off to who we are at the desk.
Yeah, there actually was some news here on FFAI, and it was from this morning. So there is a day one catalyst on this. Came out around 2:30 a.m. as far as I could tell. The company partnering with U.S. education institution III to launch the EIA Robotics Summer Camp. This does not seem like a super massive catalyst here, but either way, FFAI pushing to the upsides again. I guess this is called Embodied AI. It's a robotics-related program, so it could be that robotics element of this is a nice look for FFAI. Worth noting, this company has done some weird press releases in the past. I remember when I first started in the fall of 2023, they did this whole stunt campaign promo where you had one of the Oppenheim brothers from Selling Sunset pick up a Faraday vehicle. So known for kind of weird press releases. Either way, FFAI is to the upside. Looks like on this camp news. Back to you.
The chat is undefeated because the comment of the day in the chat was the news on Faraday is that they're pivoting to become a shoe company. Just take it the other way, right? Someone's got to go in the other direction. Yada, 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 data center, yada, 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 AI. And before it was, one moment it was quantum, and it just is what it is. But someone's got to go the other direction. We always talk about the volume candles on potential reversals just because you get this massive volume spike and a potential topping tail. I'm not saying Faraday, I'm just going to call it Faraday. I'm not going to say Faraday is done here.
Okay, there's another headline stepping in here.
Always is. Yeah. Well, I'm not seeing anything too crazy on USO though, yet.
It
is coming up, but it's not. It hasn't busted VWAP.
And there it is. That's what I said.
Not yet.
If that drops, I don't know, man. I gotta put some money on Polymarket or something. But I'm like, yeah. Why would Iran say that the U.S. is talking about or looking into removing the blockade? Allow the U.S. to say that. So we'll wait for Adara to come in. There was a volatility spike. It may not be nothing. It might not be anything, anyways. Aside from that, but you can see that flush down and the volume start to step in. So and with USO to the top side.
Oh, I thought we were going to Adara, but if we're not, this is a comment that I don't disagree with. Because for some styles of trade, 73 jab, this market is untradeable. I think when it's like this, I like to lean on structure. Like, can I find something which just makes some sense? Like, this is a downtrend. I can watch USO. I can find a level. If I get a topping tail, I can get in. I have areas where I know I want to start to take profit and just maybe scalp inside of a range and then try to get some follow through. And if it's not that clear, then don't do anything. That's perfectly fine. And if you find something that sets up, great. Maybe you trade a Faraday because it doesn't care what's happening in the market. There's always something that doesn't care about this USO and Iran stuff. And if you can find that, maybe it speaks to you better for trades. Adara?
I do have some news here. So apparently senior Iranian official making some comments here, rejecting negotiations that are conducted under pressure or aimed at surrender. Furthermore, saying that Pakistan's efforts to persuade the U.S. to lift the naval blockade have not yet yielded any results. So now it sounds like they don't think the U.S. is going to lift the blockade, which is actually a direct contradiction of the earlier comment we heard saying that they did think the U.S. could lift the blockade. Last but not least, the same senior Iranian official apparently saying that Iran could be attending talks in the Pakistan, but only if U.S. abandons its policy of pressure and threat. So it sounds like they won't be attending talks in Pakistan. And again, to recap those headlines, Iran basically saying, hey, we don't think the U.S. is going to abandon their blockade, contradicting comments that we heard literally less than half an hour ago, and saying that, as of right now, they just don't want any negotiations that are going to be conducted in this environment, the environment that the U.S. is currently, in their opinion, continuing to uphold. And it goes on, guys.
On and on. And if it feels like you're playing a racket sport, like a game of tennis, the good news is, and I didn't know this
saying it, like spot on. Like I called it before it even happened. Why would they say
whack-a-mole around here.
Yeah. It's crazy.
To be fair, you called that the U.S. would deny it. You did not call that Iran would deny their own comments.
Which is totally no. Don't shut the door there. Come back here. Come back here. In all reality, why would you state something and then a couple minutes later take it back? Like, all right, no, we don't think they're going to do that.
No, right? I know, but what you had specifically said had to do more with the U.S. government or maybe Trump in a Truth Social post making the denial, which he did not do. The government themselves made a different comment that another member of the government reportedly made.
Because
you done messed up, Joe.
Iran beat them to the punch. That's why. It was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time until Donald would have tweeted.
It was a matter of time until someone said something. I just think that is not exactly what you said, and I am the type of person where, like I said, I'll literally do math and movies, and if the numbers they are giving me make sense, I get taken out of the story. Like, I like accuracy. I remember stuff. I just wanted to set the record straight with regards to what was actually said.
That's fine, but that headline still came in. That's all right. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
I'm just, don't mess with Adara.
I'm not messing with anybody. I'm not messing with anybody. I'm just saying it was only a matter of time. Yeah, we're getting extremely specific on who said what or they did all this. But at the end of the day, the headline came in. And it was just taking back essentially what was said a matter of 5 minutes ago.
We have the best. Okay, I'm being straight up. I was talking with a good friend of mine. Literally my roommate at university went to high school together, and Sean, he's in our football pool, and we're talking about how he's like, you guys are still trading and this and that, and doing the show, and I love this show. It's so much fun, and that's what it's all about. Like, you got to have these fun, ripe discussions. I just had some theater. That was good for me. You got to eat that lunch, man.
It's not that good, man.
That's fine. I mean, it's good, but it's good. It smells good still, and now I got to smell it, and he doesn't want to eat his lunch. That's just how it's going to be. I'm not going to do a poll on that. What I wanted to do, see, here's the thing. I feel like we've gotten a little bit. The poll I want to do this afternoon is Tesla. Like, we've done market stuff all the time. And the one this morning, did I even close? I did close it. That was the Amazon one. Like, what's the one thing that we probably have not? We talked so much about oil in Iran and all these small cappers, Beyond Meat and car. Like, Tesla reports tomorrow. And we barely even talked about Tesla today. And they're down and they're weak and all this stuff. I'm going to go back to main menu. Okay, so here's the one. I never swing. I don't swing things with the intention of holding them into earnings. I think that's kind of like a gamble, what's going to happen on earnings. But if you had to, I'm going to say if you had to, long or short Tesla into earnings. You have no choice, okay? This is not, I don't want any ho-humming and saying put a third option. It's very simple. We're going to start it. You type 1 if you're going long into earnings, and you type 2 if you're going short into earnings. I think it's just one of those, like, we'll just keep it, we'll try to keep it simple.
In regards to Tesla?
Yeah, no, very specifically. They report tomorrow after the bell. You got to buy or sell it right here and hold it past the print to, let's just say, the aftermarket or the, whatever, like the following day. Right? You're picking the direction, but you got to do it right now. You don't even get the benefit of the day's trade. I just want to get a sense. Maybe we end up with one of those like boring 50-50s, but we literally haven't talked about Tesla. Well, we have.
Too much. Yeah. I mean,
maybe not as much as we normally would have the day before the earnings, when they are the big earnings name coming up there. And there's no question. Like, I think Intel is going to be interesting on Thursday. But I'm pretty sure there isn't a bigger event than tomorrow after the bell. So 24 hours from now, I assure you we'll be talking a lot about them. We'll leave it up. Right now it's actually 56%. So the shorts are starting to come in. Like, the twos are starting to win a little bit here. 57% to 43. Not definitive, but it's better than nothing. And look at that. The second we start talking about Tesla starts breaking VWAPs. That's all you need. Apparently just us bringing it up and getting interested in it causes the stock. It doesn't cause the stock to move at all. We'll go back to SIA, and we'll see how this poll goes. Still too close to 50-50 to my liking.
Yeah, Reuters is saying that the dollar has been supported by safe haven demand, and the Swiss franc, followed by the yen, will also benefit when volatility does spike. Again, U.S. job data also is pushing the dollar around. An unexpected drop in the February payrolls has also weakened the dollar a little bit in the day. Even the USD has still posted a strong weekly gain. However, the USD did pull back, as you can see on the chart here, as of last week. But currently, it's just, as Adara said, hanging out.
Thank you very much, Sia. I have a mild worry about Tesla going into these earnings.
I don't like.
You see what happened? It's what happened at 400. Like,
yeah.
It's the price action of the last couple of. It's a price action of what happened at 4 bills the last 2 days. That I'm not a huge fan of. Like we've double failed the 400 clean, which is also the 200 period moving average. And like, remember all the chop that was in this range where it was just 400 to 420 and couldn't break. And now we have sellers in here again. They're still there on the way back up going to earnings. Like, the same sellers at the same price as back in March. Like, that's where we run into on the bull move going before the earnings.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm not saying the earnings will be bad. I just don't like that those sellers were still there selling in front of the earnings when they were doing the same thing in March. And then the market hit the highs and they're still right there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. Are we going to someone? Did I get a...
Oh, we are.
Let's go over to Adara.
Okay, so this is real. I can't believe I'm having to say this, but we did have, of course, that drop here in USO when we were hearing that, okay, Iran indicating that the US was ready to end the blockade. Then we had Iran coming out saying they're not ready to end the blockade. Now, a different Iranian diplomat saying that they are ready to end the blockade. So now we've heard 2 different reports out of Iran saying that they believe the US is ready to end the blockade. We've now heard 1 report suggesting they're not ready to end the blockade. This most recent report isn't even from the same source, which makes you think that there's at least a couple people in Iran thinking U.S. might be ready to end the blockade. But this time it's an Iranian diplomat being cited by BBC last time we heard from the Associated Press, right? So a couple different headlines suggesting that some individuals in Iran do think the U.S. is ready to end the blockade, regardless of what other people from Iran said like 5 minutes ago. This has been an eventful time, an eventful day. If we hear anything from Trump, I'll let you guys know, but he's been really quiet on Truth Social today, and I find he's either super active or he just doesn't post at all. So I think the chances of us hearing from him before the bell are pretty unlikely.
Is basically just a lot. Did you know that racket sports are the best for adding longevity on your life more than any other like sport activity? It's actually tennis.
You know who Tracks NY is?
I don't think so.
No, okay.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
You know what Tracks NY once said?
What's that?
Where is my money? Where is it, man? Come on. No, in all seriousness, this is what I'm talking about. Like, it's just a matter of time. I just don't, Tracks NYC, I just don't know why. They're just going back and forth with each other, and that's essentially what I was getting at. It's a tennis match, it's a ping pong match. He said, she said, until it's in writing and everything is done and both parties completely agree. Right now, it's just
you know what it's
back and forth.
It's like we say in our fantasy league. Well, most people in Sean and I are in the same fantasy football league. It's a bunch of dudes. Most of us, actually, I think everybody's from our high school. Maybe one guy isn't. No, yeah, pretty much everybody is. And usually you take a person at their word, but it only ever takes one person to renege on a deal. And now it's like, if you don't send it on the site, then it's not a real offer. You can say anything you want on the phone. You can post whatever you want in the chat. But if you don't send the trade through the site, then it's not a real offer. And this is kind of the thing. It's all this back and forth and fluff and pomp and circumstance. And ultimately, all you got to look at is the price action. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks of it. Since about 1:30, you're either long stuff or short energy. And none of that, like the headlines have caused shock, but it's been down, consolidate, down, consolidate, down. So you're either long like Qs or SPY or something techish. I say things, you know what I mean, like the market's going back up. Or you're short something in the energy space. And none of it's mattered. And the only reason I say things, like just pick. Right? Like I could tell you Apple, I could say NVIDIA, I could say the SPY in general. Right, like it's anything which has like a true correlation to what's going on in the energy space, and then that's why I'm in the other direction. I found something that makes sense in battle. It keeps bouncing off VWAP, but it's also I think part of the problem is $4. Like it's $4 and it's at a bit of a shelf. Like when I look at it from here, like $4 was a pretty key level before. I still think it makes one more breakdown, and I've been holding on to fill in the last of that gap, but it is almost 330, and might have to you take what you can get and you don't get upset. Eventually, at some point. Early look on the imbalances, pretty much a nothing burger. You have Kenvue, which is there every single day. GDX, only 700,000 shares to the sell side, so that's looking pretty boring for sure. And Dragos is telling me CORZ at the high of the day.
Bro, what is that? Like, there?
What's up?
I don't know. Thera W source, something source.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. There you go. Good job, Ramin.
Rabbit season. Duck season.
Yo. There you go. Yay. Everybody
that was my joint.
Tell Ramin a good job.
I got my daughter, I showed my daughter Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
She's like, this is the funniest thing ever. I'm like, you like this? Okay, fine. That's what's up. You can watch all the Looney Tunes you want.
Yeah.
Because then I'll watch. A Saturday morning, if she wants to watch cartoons, if she throws on Looney Tunes, I got a morning coffee and we just chill out. Like, it's the best. That's what I used to do with my brother. Like, we wake up at like 5:30, 6 a.m. on a Saturday. Because they had like the badass cartoons would come on. You had like the old school like
That's
like Rocket Robin Hood would show before Looney Tunes even come out. Rocket Robin Hood would come on, and then you had like the Hercules.
It was Teletoon and YTV.
Yeah.
Right? Teletoons and YTV was definitely something that we got into, or I was into, I guess, when I was a kid. But yeah, there goes NVDA. We're just going to leave this last little bit for a runner. It was Teen Titans, I think, that I used to watch in the morning. Teen Titans, Adair, I like in that one. Adair, you like Raven, I'm assuming?
Okay, I liked Raven. It's
Yeah.
like, actually, my sister and I randomly were watching like a couple episodes over the weekend on Skype. Like, 'cause
No
it's like
way.
Yeah, there's like a childhood show for me.
Yeah.
I
Cyborg.
actually enjoyed all of them. I have to say, I don't think there was anyone that I didn't like, and I found the villains really fun. Like that one, like bald kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it was really well made, and it was not appreciated enough.
No, it's
I'm
one
having
of
to
those
look this
childish.
one up.
I mean, I don't know if that was on in the morning. Teen Titans?
No, what's Raven?
Raven is it's from Teen Titans. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So like the obviously the DC character.
I gotta ask, man.
Yeah. I mean, there it is. You had Cyborg in there. You had
Did also anyone like watch Mr. Meeker?
Mr. Who?
No? Oh my God. Mr. Meeker was this like, I used to watch it when I was a kid with my best friend. He was this guy who did like arts and crafts, but he had this like famous I Am a Shape song.
Oh.
Anyways, never
It
mind.
looks like but that's. The thing is, you have to
Art
remember,
Attack.
that's not different from like the stuff that I watched when I was a kid. I'm looking at a picture of it. Like I used to watch, when I grew up, it was like Fred
Is that
Penner
Mr. Maker?
and-
Yeah, I never
and
seen
like
that.
Mr. Dress Up.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Mr. Rogers was.
Yeah, that's Mr. Maker.
Shoot.
Yeah, but someone
Roger
who
was
said
legend.
Art Attack too. I think, yeah, I liked Art Attack. That was a classic back in the day.
Mr. Who?
No, Art Attack.
was
Art Attack.
really
You remember
good.
the guy who would just have like a bunch of random materials and
big
make these big,
pencils and
yeah,
stuff.
and just make like these big.
You have to remember, I'm like significantly older than you
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
so like,
I know. Sorry, man.
it is what it is. Like I don't know some of those.
Yeah.
Make me feel old.
There's a lot of-
I gotta go back to the
like,
market before I feel
Dragon
even
Ball.
older, because I don't recognize any of those shows. Like the stuff I grew up on. Maybe there's okay, fine. At least somebody in the chat was like, I know who Mr. Rogers is.
It's like Darkwing. It was like Darkwing Duck as well too.
Yo, you don't know Darkwing.
I know
First of all,
Darkwing.
I was a kid when Darkwing Duck came out. The summer that Darkwing Duck came out, all it was the ads and they had
Yeah.
the dancers and everything. It was like the most
Oh,
hyped thing ever. And then I remember when the show came out, I'm like, man, this trash.
Oh.
Like all this hype around this Darkwing Duck. I forget how old I was. And they came out and I'm like, this is nonsense, bro.
Yeah.
Wasn't even any good. You can't hype it up like
I'm gonna
this.
pull that up. There goes NVDA to the top side, guys. Market recovery.
Bye-bye.
What is USO doing here, Neil?
It's chilling.
Is it chilling?
It's the same thing. It's a gentle downtrend,
Chilling like a
rinse
villain?
and repeat over and over again. Effectively, all it's doing is consolidating down. Every time it pops, you look to short the pop. I'm giving it one more chance for myself. Like this is the last time Battle will bounce off VWAP and I'll short the top of the range because it's 330. So one more opportunity here into 420. Hopefully we get a lower high and it'll be the last one. We just had and then we got a couple super chats that we might have missed out. Throw them up there.
throw 'em
we
up
have
there.
JKL Looney Tunes report entered USO. See, okay, first of all,
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you know.
Long or short?
I never understood that.
okay, I don't say the rest because I don't understand it either, and I'm gonna assume it doesn't mean what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But I'm also
I
not
understood
saying
that.
it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it seems weird. I'm not telling you what to do with your name, and we appreciate you. You make great points and trading ideas, and we value the contributions. It's just a weird name.
Just some more context to it would be great.
Birdman. See, I can get by it. Here we go. The trap is being set up. Expect a profit-taking sell-off tomorrow, most likely during mid-morning tomorrow session.
Yeah.
Like there's something that doesn't, I said this about Tesla tomorrow, there's something that doesn't feel good about how we're heading into Tesla earnings. I can't put a finger on it. Some of it has to do with the levels where they're selling and the exuberant going into it, and there's still a bunch of sellers that were there before are still there at the same price, and we're supposed to feel stronger about it, and yet we don't. So I'm kind of with you on that. I could see it. I'm trying not to be biased about where I stand going into tomorrow. I feel like you can't, having an overnight bias when one headline seems like it can shift sentiment seems to be pointless. You just deal with the day in the morning when it comes. Let's go back to the desk.
Yeah, so to let you guys know here, Core Scientific on watch, CORZ spiking higher. We do have CoinDesk reporting that Core Scientific is preparing to raise $3.3 billion through a junk bond sale. The goal of this sale is reportedly to fund its transition into AI-focused data center operations. Again, CoinDesk reporting CORZ prepping for a big junk bond sale here of $3.3 billion in order to raise money to fund some AI-focused data centers. Back to you.
for that, Adara, as the market continues to climb a little bit higher there. Folks, I wanted to say, I don't want to take too many steps back, but we're going to take one step back for all my 90s kids. Angela Anaconda. Who remembers that one? Caillou, Mega Babies, Dexter's Laboratory.
Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah, man, a lot of great shows. What'd you say? What'd you say? I Can Die? Oh, Caillou. Oh, Caillou Can Die. All right, yeah. I mean, I heard that. Yeah, I heard like Caillou's like a controversial figure, man. Like he's just like a big whiny baby and stuff like that. Well, essentially, I don't know. I only remember it as a kid, but yeah, apparently he's just like some parents don't want their kid watching Caillou.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a brat. That's why Joe looks like Caillou. That's crazy, man. All right.
I don't remember ever being like, there's a cartoon my daughter watched that, oh, you got to stop watching that.
Yeah.
Like there's ones that I'm not a huge fan of. Like it just, at some point, it just really anybody that had kids around, was it the Paw Patrol?
Wacky Racers.
There was something about the Paw Patrol, my daughter was into it, that I was completely convinced. There's something, and I remember reading an article about that. The manner in which the show is like edited, like it's very rapid shots and scene to scene, and it really messes with like your attention span. But it keeps you like somehow addicted to it. Because when kids were into it, they can't not watch it. And then if they're away from it from a time period, they'll forget about it. But like when they're into it, it's like every single day they want to watch Paw Patrol, Paw Patrol, Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
It's just weirdly addictive. And then the second she got away from it, they go like camping for a week, it's just instantly forgotten. They're doing something weird to the mind. And I never really liked that show.
Yeah, with Paw Patrol.
You know what bugs me?
Sticking Around was a good one too.
Here's what bugs me. If you watch a lot of cartoons, and people are gonna say this is tinfoil hat, have you ever noticed that the bad guy is like 90% of the time, it's just a businessman.
I have oil news.
It's like, it's just like, it's an evil businessman. Like like I grew up, like my dad carried a briefcase, he got up early in the morning, I got up with him and I'm like, I want to be a businessman. I admire and now it's like you're a villain. If you're automatically, you're bad.
You're a bad guy.
I have news on oil.
Okay.
So USO pushing higher here. We've got Tasnim reporting that Iran's decision not to be in Pakistan on Wednesday is final. So it looks like Iran has made their final decision, and their decision is they will not be in Pakistan to engage with the U.S. So I guess Vice President J.D. Vance's paused trip to Pakistan, I guess that trip is permanently off. If I get more details, I'll let you know. But we're also hearing a whole bunch of U.S. officials, including Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. We also had Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and the envoys going into the Middle East, so Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. They were all apparently at the White House or heading to the White House as of like an hour ago. Now it sounds like Iran has made a final decision, and they do not want to take part in these talks. So it's back forth. Things keep changing. As they continue to change, I'll be right here at this desk giving you guys all the news.
You know what? I'm done with this oil stuff. I was right about to like, okay, well, that's popping us up. I'm gonna reload. I'm not even gonna bother. I don't think so. It's 337. You take what you can get and you don't be upset. If it breaks this higher low, I'm just gonna get out. And I think I'll just pop into VWAP here. There's way too much back and forth. I just feel like you dip your foot into the well one too many times. Pun not intended. So I'm just gonna jump out. I was going to reload, but I feel like it doesn't even make sense anymore. Way too much market whiplash. And this move seems a little bit different on USO this time. Like it's popping through VWAP. There just isn't a reason to. And JKL, all that discussion about the name.
Yeah, what are you saying?
I'm assuming that was a long in USO. We have a lot of times like the vernacular, it's like I'm getting into something. Someone will say, oh, I'm getting into this or that. I feel like it's fair to say, if I say I'm getting into something or anybody says they're getting into something, my general assumption is you're going long. And that if you were shorting something, you would just say you're going short. Like you would specify you're going short, but you're just automatically you're going long. We just had another super chat. I thought we got this question this morning. Oh, it's JKL first. Easy peasy. JKL straight is open. Bugs.
Daffy. Oh
yeah, you have. And thank you to Vermeen for putting that one up. That was absolutely hilarious. Thank you, Easy Peasy. Appreciate the super chat. And then we have another one as USO continues to fly higher. What's your take on two firms holding 108% in CAR? Yeah, we did see this before. My comment was effectively, while it's not legal, it is not allowed for naked short selling. I'm not saying it's happening in CAR. I don't know. The number I saw was 63% short float. An updated number this morning in an article I read, and I saw 45 to 46% like a week or two ago. To the extent that maybe if it's 108 because of naked short selling, in my personal opinion, it occurs. I can't prove that to you definitively outside of some of the things that we see in price action that would seem to dictate that it does happen. I'm aware of years ago firms that were caught doing this. I can say that with certainty. They get shut down. That does happen. But again, naked short selling shouldn't be allowed. That's all I can give you. I don't know if it's happening over here in CAR, but if it is, that does exacerbate moves like this. And it's one of those, well, you can complain about it, but then if you're long CAR, it's printing you money because it's just more people getting blown out as it gets soaked up. And it made another fresh high. Like it went to 765, 766, it looks like, as it just pulled back off of that level. So, yeah, and you never really know.
Got another super chat. Pull
We'll
it
give
up
another
here.
one? Okay, let's
Yeah,
throw another
pull it up,
one there.
man. We're getting some justification here.
Long USO, toddler brain, and love hunting.
Premium. So an options guy.
Oh, okay. Well, but you do understand the questions, like why we're asking what's the deal with the name?
Yeah,
I figured
I would have rearranged it a little bit. Maybe
it just,
I don't know. That's
yeah, like it kind of invokes
that
something that
anything.
maybe didn't sound like it. Just you know what we're getting at. Like I look, obviously, never really thought you meant anything weird by it. It just sounds weird. That's all. No, I get you. Like toddler brain. You know what? Sometimes keep it simple. Right?
Yeah,
like,
that's
keep it simple.
Kiss, man. It's,
Kiss.
Yeah, you don't want to. I mean, premium toddler. Yeah.
Why? What now?
Yeah, exactly, Ramin. Ramin funny too.
Oh, Ramin.
Yeah. Ramin funny.
Ram,
Please
ram.
do not come with any. Oh, okay. Yeah, I
on
mean,
now.
that's Angelo. You're asking to lose essentially on that bet. There's probably going to be another one or two at least before the end of the day. We have 20 minutes left.
What's the bet?
Well, someone said, Adara, please don't come with any more oil headlines.
I am not the president. I am not any of the Iranian state media press. I am not Israel's Channel 12. I am not Israel.
Yeah,
I'm also not JD Vance. I'm just a woman
shout out
who
to-
will be seeing what news occurs, and I will keep you guys posted with whatever news I see, because that's what we do over here at Trader TV Live.
Dang.
Well, at least the thing is, at least with on the U.S. side of it, like you know who is talking and the level of authority that they have when a comment gets made, and like you can put a weight to it that can, however you want, can actually make some sense. I just feel like the ones that are coming out of Iran, like I don't know, because you've never heard of like the person that you're hearing it attributed to, nobody heard of them a month ago or 2 months ago, probably 2 months. I guess like 2 months ago, and so we don't really know who we talking about. Like this is now getting out of hand to the upside. JKL. That'll play.
Yeah, oh, look at that. Oh, my Lanta. Okay, we're out of this.
I'm glad we didn't read
Wow, I'm so happy I took the majority
NVIDIA
of this
just lost
off.
200.
Dude, everything just
What's the-
tanked. Something. Listen, Adair's going to be busy for the next little bit, okay? So you got to strap in because we just got something else step into the market. Look at USO absolutely rip. There it is. Please be the headline that I was saying earlier. Adara.
Joe, just because you asked for a headline, that doesn't make it the headline. In this case, it is not the headline. The headline is that, as we already actually would have suspected, based on the prior news that Iran doesn't want talks, Associated Press officially reporting J.D. Vance has called off his trip to Pakistan. Now, again, this is something we already could have inferred based on the fact that Iran wasn't coming to Pakistan, but now I guess we get the official reported confirmation that he has called off his trip to Pakistan, and here is USO making new high of day. This is an exciting time, so please stick with us over at X at TTV Research and over here at Trader TV Live, because the headlines won't stop, but neither do we.
We just had this shock, that shock in USO. Whoops, come on.
That was insane.
Flip stocks, thank you. That in the NASDAQ, everybody was already saying he wasn't going all afternoon. Yet we're gonna lose the entirety of the move over that. That's the crazy whipsaw part of the action. It's absolutely crazy, so this doesn't look good. Well, if you didn't feel good about Tesla going into earnings, 15 minutes ago, you're certainly not going to feel better about it. But it's got a whole day to potentially recover, I suppose. What would be at least interesting, which I'm going to attempt to do, because we're too close to the imbalances. If I even thought about a reversion trade, I probably want to slap myself for thinking it. But I'm not chasing anything that's close to imbalances. Is maybe look for things that are not dying. Like if you can find something that's not, that maybe you think might be dying, that would find some strength. I was kind of hoping I could flip over and see like UNH that had earnings today, which is in healthcare. Maybe it's got a bid and is not falling down with the market. It is.
That's crazy.
So that kind of stinks. There's got to be something. And look at the move up in oil futures. Like, you see that kind of a parabolic move, my first thought is there might be a mean reversion trade. So if I see it fail, you know where I'm going. Well, maybe you don't. If you've been paying attention, you know exactly where I'm going. HOD. So all I'm going to do for the next 5 minutes is if I see a curl here, I'm just going to look for an opportunity to punch short somewhere at a lower high. Because like, did we just hear something that we didn't already know? I feel like no, that's not true, but we'll see. It doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
If it gives me, if I see the opportunity that USO turns around and I can play this off the high, because USO's broken the top and I can maybe play this off the high of the day, that gives me a trade. Otherwise, I'm just going to hold off and we can scan for things that are relatively strong and file that away for tomorrow. Yeah. But I haven't really found anything just yet. And I could have been, what's crazy is like the whole, I'm not going to reload this. I could have also just punched long, but I wasn't really, whatever.
Oh, wow.
You don't see this happening, like as if. I felt we already knew this news.
Yeah.
Like the canceling the trip, I felt like this was already, I literally remember hearing that headline while I was eating lunch. And yet we're still dropping this much when we get it regurgitated, as Adara just said. Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is, man. The headline sensitivity, and it's in full effect here. No, not at all, Sebastian. No, not at all. That made me chuckle. But no, man, in all seriousness, like, I mean, look at USO go. Look at the overall market just put in a new low of the day. Yeah, I mean, the sensitivity is within the market, guys, and you have to be prepared. Now, if I had significantly more size on than what I had left, like 2.5% of my remaining position, then I would be significantly more infuriated than what I currently am. So yeah, we got out when we were supposed to. I took the majority off at 95.20. Even though we did climb, I was just planning on leaving it for a runner until the last 5 minutes of the show, but that doesn't seem to be the case as essentially things start to come in. And like Vancouver Island guy, like listen, how many volatility spikes have we had today? Plenty. You had to be prepared for that. Are we gonna snap back? I don't know. USO just absolutely went off on that headline, putting in up to a high of 128. Imagine you were short and then all of a sudden, bang, you have this volatility spike, or if you were long. It's literally what we've been sitting in for the past little while. You have to be prepared. And like, listen, I understand where you guys are coming from. It can get absolutely frustrating. It frustrates me, but we just kind of have to be prepared for it and accept it for what it is. Hopefully things cool down. So the 2 weeks of the ceasefire, a little bit less than that we had, where the market was just steady climbing higher. No one's stepping in. No one's really bothering us. But now the table and the tide has turned, that's for sure.
Tables have turned.
Yeah.
And, it's so weird to me. Like, that's the moment that actually causes CAR to pull back. Like, now USO turns around. Yeah. The timing is absolutely hilarious there. No, when someone said, wasn't Neil shorting on Battle? I'm thinking about it, but I'm more thinking that maybe I should just wait till tomorrow. We'll wait till 2 minutes until the imbalances come out. It's a heck of it's a nothing burger here. I don't know what that is, penny stock. It's still nothing crazy or nothing interesting on the locator, which doesn't surprise me. Like, you're really just going to be watching oil, and if the market catches a bit of a bounce here, it will literally just be because oil futures have decided to pull back. Wild. 123 says don't do it. No, I don't usually like taking anything like too technically, like a random technical trade 2 minutes before the imbalances. I'll do that if Battle was a sell imbalance, I would probably just go into it right now, but it's not. So I'm not going to pull the trigger. You take what you can get and not be upset, for sure. So yeah, with 90 seconds to go, I'd say disappointing price action, because we really did just have the feel for the majority of the afternoon, it was just gentle glide higher up in the markets, which just felt like it was going to continue. There was nothing. It was one of those boring, we're just trending up, and so you could sit in a long, or you could just sit short energy, and that was just trending down.
Yeah.
And then absolute chaos came in. And we're only going to close a 0.5% down. Like, I don't know what we're freaking out about. It's because of the turnaround that you did. What I don't love about it is, now look at this top on the Qs. You have a look at what this looks like, and I can draw you I guess it's like a frowny face. We usually talk about the smiley face. Well, that doesn't look that good on the Qs up top here. On the 15-minute, right? Like, you basically had, hey, there's our update and new highs, a rejection and a consolidate under the highs, gap up above, and then roll it over and have the inverse of what we just saw there on Friday. Like that last up push on Friday, we have the inverse of it. So you lose 642 on the Qs, which will be like 26.5. So 26.5 on the NASDAQ or 642 on the Qs. If we open up underneath that tomorrow, regardless of the headline, it's going to look bad. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I know. Nothing you can do, man, but live in a shoe sometimes.
Where's the Trader TV 8 ball? No, the 8 ball's right here. We keep it off screen.
What do you want to ask?
What do you want to ask the 8 ball? The problem is the 8 ball's been acting up. So even if I ask it a question, it's hard to read it. But you let me know. I'll ask the 8 ball if you want me to.
Okay, all right.
Well, I just don't.
What's the question? I got a question here.
What's the question? Imbalances just came out. You've got NVIDIA's a buy, 1.1.
What a pop.
Intel's a buy, 1.1. Wolf, 1.2 to the buy side. Broadcom, 800,000. Looks like they're all buys here. GDX is a sell, 900,000. Not that big. Palantir is a buy of 750,000. There's a name we haven't talked about at all today. I feel like QBTS, 750,000. So nothing too crazy. Apple at $1 million. Apple's been moving around. Slight bounce here on Apple. I don't know how much it wants to sustain. I don't think the bounce that you're seeing here on this 1.3 billion market imbalance and some of the mags, I don't think it's going to matter if USO just goes back to the high and breaks it out. Those imbalances will mean nothing if we make a new fresh high here in oil to end the day.
Yeah. I mean, so essentially when did we get involved with this trade, Neil, at 230? It climbs higher until approximately 130, and then from 133 down to 140. So 10 minutes, a third of the time it's just boom.
Well, you have that break-even stop still.
Yeah, of course.
So so for me, I have a very strict rule. Like, that's VWAP, right? Is that VWAP?
The screen line is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like once a reversion hits the volume weighted average price, I can't let it go all the way back. Because it's like it went to where you wanted it to go to.
Yeah.
So like until it gets there, you want to give it to break even. But when it gets to where you want it to go to, I usually tighten it up because of that.
So you trail it essentially?
Yeah. Like,
I'm not trying to justify anything, but dude, I had like literally 2.5%. It was absolutely nothing.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. I took the majority it off here, and I'm just like I'm leaving like a fraction of a percent for a runner, and for that pretty picture.
That's a different.
Exactly. So. Aside from that, guys, I mean, it is what it is. I think our USO is going to continue to climb here. You can see that we're just not too far off of the high of the day. If we look at it from a daily, that's a nice, strong candle. Now, I think we were down 12% at one point. Now we're only down 11.5%. Tesla reporting after the bell didn't participate too much in those strong uptick moves, but it did bounce into the volume-weighted average price, more or less participating on the flush down. Well, how did our poll turn out, Neil, on Tesla? I'm curious to find out. Palantir also flushing aggressively. So if you had to go long on Tesla short into earnings, wow. Okay, so type 2, Yeah, 80 votes towards the short side. I think a good question to have here is it going to beat its expected move in either direction?
What's the expected move?
We can figure that. We can figure that out. I'm sure Adair's got an infographic on that. Tesla's expected move.
I don't do expected move infographics, but I can pull it up.
Oh, I thought you added it at one point to.
So I usually do an expected move infographic for all the names that are reporting
before
they report. So I actually have like the ones for tonight and the ones that are reporting tomorrow morning. I don't like to do them too in advance because I find, generally speaking, if you do them too in advance, like they're not going to be accurate anymore. But TSLA as of right now expected to move only 5.8%. But to be fair, it only moved 3.5% last quarter. So TSLA actually, like, shockingly, I think GEV has a larger expected move than this thing.
Yeah, there's another one, G Vernova. I don't know. it's having a problem with $1,000, and it's like not a mild problem. Like it's broken $1,000 all but one day in the last week, and every single one has been a rejection. Like it's broken 1,000 and closed underneath like every single time with like one exception there. But, look, I own GV and I love it. VWAP that just made a G note. Holla at your. Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. No, that's not what it says. 1,076%.
Yeah.
On zero-day options, SPY puts, you paid 54, cashed out for 6 hundo. Gotta make sure we read that one right. Hey, well done. I'm on the wrong page,
proper,
but now I'm on the right page to give it that one.
Congratulations.
A little Bitcoins. You can tell that was right when Bitcoin was going nuts, so we put little Bitcoins on that thing.
Yeah,
We made it. Now it should probably be something else, but we haven't bothered to change it. The Birdman up in the chat. 100K sold off, 30K into SOX S. My prediction true. See?
What does it 100K sold off, 30K into SOX S mean?
Well, I'm assuming 100K sold off.
What does that mean?
So did you short SOX S? Or you're taking profits from the sell-off to go into SOX S? That would be the question.
Yeah, I don't really understand what.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking if you sold, you made. I'm thinking you made 100,000 on something short, and you're putting 30K into SOX S. Tell me if I'm true or not, if I'm right or not.
I sold off 100K of other positions. Okay. Oh, and then now you're thinking about putting a third of that into SOX S. All right, I see what you're getting at there.
SOX is inverse, by the way. You rotated into SOX S.
Yeah.
See, that's what my interpretation was too. But you only rotated 30 of it.
That's
right?
good. That's not smart.
Right.
That's smart, right?
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
the Birdman up in the chat. And don't trust me, I get it. Like you have a limited amount. Like I can jabber on, and if it doesn't make sense, I can try to clarify for myself. You guys just have to type and make it clear. So that's why we ask for the clarifications, because I'm curious too. Like we all are. There was something else. It was 355. It's not like there were any big imbalances anyways, but for what it's worth, you got FXI for 1 million share, 1.2 to the buy side, and then you've got 1 million to the sell side on Rigetti, which just paired off a little bit. Ooh, nasty day for Rigetti, 7% down. Well, at least there was a bounce, right, on Rigetti. Now it's looking like it turned on a dime through 20. And heading back in. What did SMR do today? Oh, dang it.
Yeah, SMR was hard.
SMR lost. It lost the 50 period. See, this was the battle because to me, like I was waiting for this stock to actually hold the 50 period moving average and break out above it, and it looks like we're still going to be waiting. So hold 50 period, but no breakout today above the 50 period. So it got above, but rejection, meh, rejection. So that one's a fail. I'm not seeing an entry back into SMR for myself. I've been looking for a place to buy back in. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be anytime soon. It looked like today was going to be the day on the daily chart here. If you could have busted 13.5. Yeah, holding 9%. This could be SSR tomorrow. It's got 3 minutes to drop 0.5%, and then maybe we'll be looking at this as a SSR name tomorrow morning, which I like. I like when you don't want stocks. I don't want stocks to go down. It's just the added pressure of the uptick rule being in effect.
Yeah.
Does make, if you're a mean reversion trader, it does make when you catch a bottom reversion, it makes it a little bit better if the stock happens to be SSR. So hopefully it is. Where's Avis?
Car is crazy.
Bounces off VWAP, back above 700. This is going to, I know it's off the highs, but this is going to be an all-time high close for this stock. It just is not stopping, and it's actually accelerating. Like these daily candles are expanding still.
Yeah.
On Avis.
That's the mad.
Like the ranges are bigger up here, and that's what happens.
Rivian millionaire.
Please get to 1,000. If it gets to 1,000,
Rivian millionaire. You're like, hey, I'm up. Okay, like I don't mean to laugh at you or anything because you know you're my boy essentially. But it's like, dude, yay. Okay, so when I say the term of like I trip over dollars to collect pennies, that's the vibe you gave me right there Caribbean millionaire's like, hey, I'm up 4%. Like, brother, the thing's up 648%. Like, you got to catch a little bit more than that, my guy. Nice work though. That made me laugh, man. All the risk for 4%. Yeah, exactly. That's essentially what I'm getting at. But no, it's funny. Yeah, that's some good stuff. I think that's comical, man.
Well, see, there's two types of ways you can make 4%.
Yeah.
Because sometimes what you could be doing is you could be looking for the absolute home run trade.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't give it to you,
yeah,
you get out at something that resembles a break even, which is relatively small.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I'll tell you this right now, traders have to have flattish days.
Yeah.
You have to. I have never in 20, how long have I been doing this? 2003, so like 20, oh my goodness, 23 years. In 23 years, I have never seen a consistently profitable trader that if you look at like their month and how it's going, there aren't like a bunch of just what would easily be considered flat days for them. And there's usually a bunch of them. Like especially in the good month will have tons of flat days and then a bunch of big ones. So we're gonna have about 30 seconds to go until the close here. Let's see where oil futures in the market are gonna end up closing. Not a very good day. Pretty much at the highs, up now 5.5%. Not a very good afternoon for the markets, which were cruising to what looked like a good recovery after mostly downward trending and then, cancel a trip that people were saying was going to get postponed. And all of a sudden, all chaos breaks loose. We'll ring that closing bell for this Tuesday, now-ish. And we are now 24 hours away from Tesla earnings. There you go. You can see Bald Brotherhood is looking nice and fresh. We had Brian Shannon on, of course, the godfather of the Bald Brotherhood right there. Again, Joey Options doing a fantastic, all day long. He's been working all day, every day.
2 more days, man.
Until Thursday. And then I'll be back from the beach. Shout out to Adara. Busy day for news, but she enjoys it. The more work there is, the more she enjoys it. Shout out to Sia, who's already taken off. We got Fabian, Ramin Andre doing a great job. A lot of shade by Ramin today, though.
Why?
I felt like, well, I don't know. I'm just saying, there was some chatter that I didn't like. See, Ramin was putting in the chat about how back in the day, like you could just 5-finger discount.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I was like, Ramin, I see Ramin as wholesome, and I'm like, don't tell me that you, what?
You see it?
I view Ramin like, like a little sister or what? And I'm like, she's the innocent and kind.
Innocent? What? Okay,
yes.
Let's end the stream now,
yes.
my
What?
What the? Innocent.
I'm just saying. I don't want to hear that. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. But shout out to all you. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you guys for the conversation. We appreciate it. We're definitely seeing some volatility for sure. Tomorrow we'll have Tesla after the bell. You'll see us after market talking Tesla earnings for sure, everybody. So
don't forget, Stone Cold is part of the Bald Brotherhood. So is Goldberg.
Goldberg's part of it. Stone Cold is. The Rock is part of the Bald Brotherhood.
So Bezos, you've got Satya Nadella, just of the tech people. I'll start with those two. I mean, who else? I mean, Brian Armstrong, in addition to Brian
Armstrong.
A couple different Brians there. I think those are like all of like the main, high-profile ones I can think of off the top of my head. Lex Luthor, fictional character, but very rich man. In certain iterations, he is bald, though not the weird Jesse Eisenberg one.
Exactly. And with that, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We'll get out.
We have what's Buddy's name from from Daredevil?
You know
who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Kingpin.
The governor. Kingpin.
Yeah, Kingpin.
We got Kingpin. Ooh, we got King. Yeah, we got King.
All right, let's get out of here. These guys want to get out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, bright and early. Volatility is still here. Tesla earnings after the bell tomorrow. So make sure you buckle up. There's Sia. I knew she was still around. See you guys tomorrow.
Later. Yeah, I have a squatch.